Hey, so it's been, I think, 2 days or 3 days actually since I recorded the last video. Shout out to Sluggish. I think it is Sluggish Fight or something like that. The person who sent the very first comment on my YouTube channel. That was really nice. Thank you so much. I actually got very surprised when I first saw the comment. I was like, what the hell? Somebody commented on my video. Yeah, shout out to you. Anyhow, so to give you some background, in case anybody's watching, anybody's new, I'm a person who is trying to put themselves in an uncomfortable situation, right? And that uncomfortable situation, as of right now, is pretty much working at a call center. Why is specifically a call center? Mainly because I have somewhat of, like, in a sense, I have social anxiety, and this is actually so cool because just keep this in mind, okay? Like I said in previous videos, I would usually just like get really anxious when talking to people at times. I remember there was a state in my life in which I would literally like sit on my bed and just be like, damn, I want to go to the convenience store, but like I'm embarrassed to talk to the lady, who I see almost every day, just because I had social anxiety, right? And of course I kind of like got over that, right? But that was the level at which it got, at some point. And even though nowadays it's not as bad, there are a lot of things that I still wanna, overcome, and this is why I chose this. These videos are more for me to document this journey, because recently I started reading. I mean, I've been reading a lot this year, but I got into philosophy. I mean, like the very surface of philosophy, anyways, but specifically Stoicism, and it honestly has helped me. It was really nice to find out that, Stoicism was kind of the root, or pretty much like cognitive behavioral therapy. It stemmed from Stoicism, or it kind of like has Stoic roots, which is nice because those things kind of help me. You know what I'm saying? My girlfriend found out about cognitive behavioral therapy. Oh my god, I'm so bad at that name. Cognitive behavioral therapy, um, while doing therapy, of course. And she talked to me about it, and she also like shared with me the very first book of philosophy and of stoicism that I read, and it got us here. And honestly, I have seen a lot of improvement. If you are a person who can relate with that, with like feeling anxious when talking to people, and in general just social anxiety, I would highly recommend maybe checking out stoicism, um, you know, cognitive behavioral therapy as well. It is not for everyone because my girlfriend was in that for that reason. She had like not the same problems as me. She doesn't have social anxiety. She's a very social person, just like me. Okay, no one to like say like I'm not social or anything like that, but she doesn't struggle with those things. But of course, that was something that she was recommended, and even though stoicism might not be the answer for you, there's always a way. You know, um, but just check it out in case. And it's kind of cool to like, you know, let me give you a like I think I'm deviating from what I want to say, but it's been 3 days since I've been working in that call center, and my first thought was like, damn, I'm gonna have to handle so many calls with so many people. That's gonna be so, like, usually they tell you that that's the worst part, right? Because you are insulted, and that was actually what like pushed me or motivated me to do that. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna be insulted. I'm gonna be dealing with people. I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be going through so many, things that are supposed to disrupt me, and anecdotally, those things did disrupt me. So I was so excited. I was like, let's go. I want to implement my newfound stoicism. I want to implement it. And honestly, when I got in the call, I didn't feel anything. Like just talking to people was so easy. It's because like just the calls come in, it's super easy. So maybe I overestimated the importance of talking to people like that. I was insulted several times, and it just like it, it's not even important. Like at the moment you even laugh. It's not. something that could hurt you whatsoever. Of course, it hurts some people. So I guess that just goes to show how much I've learned. Because I'm pretty sure if I had gone into it with, without this sort of like mentality that I got from reading Stoicism and from trying to implement it for so long, because like I said, I was reading Stoicism, but I wasn't actually implementing it. I wasn't actually out there trying to, see how I reacted to things, right? But now doing this is so easy, you know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people could, just untrained people could just feel very insulted by these things or take it personally, but in the sense it's, they're not talking about you, and whatever they say, even if it is true. For example, like there was a guy who literally was he was mocking me, saying like I was talking too fast, which was honestly pretty true. And now that could hurt a lot of people, and I don't think it hurt me. I was more like, that's actually true, you know what I'm saying? I might be speaking too quickly, and constantly you have to talk to people who are older than you. So I took it well, because this is also something that I created a video about on TikTok, saying like the only way for an insult to hurt you is if you don't know yourself, or the only way for a comment to hurt you is if you don't know yourself. For example, if I right now call you, let's say, if I call you um if I call you a terrible speaker, let's say you are actually a terrible speaker, the fact that, like, let's say it's a fact, right? The fact that it hurts you, it means that you don't know yourself, you know? If you're actually a bad speaker, and when somebody tells you that you're a bad speaker, when somebody states that fact, it hurts you. It means that you don't know yourself. It means that you haven't taken the time to accept and and try to change what what you don't like about yourself, right? For example, if somebody comes after me and tells me, "You are a terrible speaker," I would not take it seriously. I mean, I would definitely probably like take it like, okay, I'm aware of that. I'm trying to improve. You know what I'm saying? But truly, it should not hurt you. You know what I'm saying? It's because you know that. You know you're learning. If that person knew you better, they could say so many things, but they don't know you better. You know yourself better. You know what I'm saying? And so if somebody comes after you, if you constantly remind yourself of why you are, for example, you're actually a great speaker, but somebody goes after you in an MBS way, and with just bitterness inside him, and being like, damn, this guy's such a good speaker. I'm just gonna tell him like, your vocabulary is bad. Like, you're just like very ambiguous and shit. You're a terrible speaker. If you truly know yourself, if you truly have taken the time to, hone that ability, and accept it, then that thing should not hurt you, because you know yourself. Lies cannot hurt you because they don't change you. Truth cannot hurt you because they don't change you. If you're bad at speaking, if somebody tells you that you're bad at speaking, it doesn't make you worse. You know what I'm saying? If you're bad at speaking and somebody comes and tells you that that you're good at speaking, it doesn't make you good at speaking. You know yourself, right? So yeah, that's my point. Sorry, I was trying to cram it in, but yeah. Um, so to give you some background as well, the very first day, it was a little bit shocking, because, and when I mean also that I try to implement stoicism, I mean it like all around, like not just insults, not just like detachment, not just worrying about what it's under my control, but also complying with my situation. You know what I'm saying? I don't only wanna feel like I don't take insults. I don't want to feel like, for example, the other day I was thinking like, what if I don't get any sales? Because the very first day, guys, I got no sales. I got no sales. I wasn't the only one. So in the practices, I had like two friends, right? One of them was really good. He had experience, and the other one was very well spoken for a person who hadn't had any experience in selling. The two of them, I mean, one of them did badly, the one who had no experience in selling, and the other one did decently. He won one. He had one sales. In the second day, guys, they left. The guy who seemed to be a natural, no experience, but seemed to be a natural, got completely overwhelmed by the situation, seemingly, and said, "The job is boring. Get no sales. I'm just gonna leave." And they left. They literally, like in the middle of this shift, they just rose and left. And that was crazy, because they were like sort of my friends. We were interacting a lot. They were actually sat next to me, but they just left. I wouldn't say it's a pressure or anything like that, but um, they left. And of course, these people had goals, they had necessities and stuff like that, but they seemed to not deem the job maybe worth it, but that's why I want to like talk about this. It's like when the way, you see it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I see a way to implement my stoicism and to grow through this. You know what I'm saying? Even though it might seem like a waste of time for a lot of people, it actually is training me a lot in so many things. Not only in getting insults, dealing with people, learning how to be better spoken in Spanish, because I'm terribly, like, when it comes to speaking in Spanish, I'm actually ass. If you think I'm bad speaking English, you have no idea how I sound in Spanish, man. Anyhow, um, and you see it. When you know the way, you see it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Musashi said that, and it's true. There's so many things that you can, that I can at least get from the situation. For example, when you are comparing yourself to others, because the girl next to me, by the way, today, she did like three, like 6 or 7, I think, sales, which is actually very, like, above the average. And I was constantly thinking, like, I should not, like, this is going to help me to try to be better every single day, to not be outcome dependent, to not compare myself with other people. Because, for example, if I had done the first day, I did nothing. The second day, I did one, right? The third day, which was today, I did two sales. Hypothetically, had I done one in the second day, right? Or if I do one tomorrow and everybody else does zero, and I know within myself that I did not do my best, you know what I'm saying? That I actually was just lying around, or like just very bored, not trying to sell. I should not feel good just because other people are above me. You know what I'm saying? If they do like 7 and I do 4 tomorrow, I should not feel down. I should feel happy because I probably did my best, you know? So you see it everywhere, you know what I'm saying? There's always something that you can do. There's always something that you can get out of the situation. And that also is conducive for another thing that I wanted to, or another, how would I call it? I don't know. Another, I guess, thing that I wanted to implement, which was complying with my situation. Um, I've been literally what would I call it? Like, I was just working at home for so long, waking up not late. I was waking up very early, but I pretty much had freedom to do whatever I wanted. However, nowadays, I have to literally wake up early, go there, come here, eat, literally feel too sleepy, go to sleep, I'm not able to read, I'm not able to do so many things. However, this is good because it helps me implement so many things, like complying with the present, complying with my current state, you know what I'm saying? And I'm striving to every day just feel cheerful, you know what I'm saying? And of course, a lot of people are gonna say, like, "Oh, what the fuck? You're exaggerating." And sure, that is exactly the point, because a lot of people don't appreciate what they have. You know what I'm saying? So having this shitty job, I literally like today I spent probably 40 minutes in a fucking line, guys. I'm telling you. So you know what I'm saying? Today I was insulted. I mean, I don't care about that, but just to kind of like top it up with something else. I don't know. Today I was insulted. All of these things, you know what I'm saying? People constantly don't know, but everything could be worse. That's what the book says. Like, you should just always comply with your situation because it could always be worse. You know what I'm saying? Hedonic adaptation pretty much takes away all the happiness from you. I have a beautiful mom. I have a beautiful girlfriend. I have a beautiful um life. You know what I'm saying? I'm stable. I think uh like I'm satisfied with the person who I am, and I'm happy with whom I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy to have the relationships that I have. I'm happy to um, maybe to have this iPad to be able to record videos. I'm happy to have the skill of speaking English to feel comfortable with expressing myself and all of these things. You know what I'm saying? That when you remind yourself of them, and you're trying to imagine a future or a present without them, you realize how bleak it would actually be. you know. So all of these things I'm trying to implement to, you know, actually achieve unwavering peace that nothing could of course it's, you know, it's so very unrealistic to say that nothing could disrupt. Of course there are a few things that even if I try would disrupt me. I don't even want to name them because of I'm that fearful, you know, that afraid of them. But you know, it has worked. I find myself being less stressed out. I find myself being less anxious. You know what I'm saying? During talks, like literally, I think our sort of boss was talking to us. I made no freaking like sales. I was just there, like just there chilling. This person cannot tell me something I don't know. You know what I'm saying? This person can tell me, Gio, you're a terrible speaker. You're a terrible seller. You gotta get out of here. I'll be like, that was true. That was true. Sure. You know what I'm saying? At least in my head, of course. And you know, it's kind of nice to feel like this. Of course, this is just to document how I feel right now. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna change a lot in the future, but you know, if it can help anyone, if it can help me even look back at this and, you know, feel maybe proud, maybe embarrassed of whom I am right now, I don't care. I don't care. I want to leave with something else, but I don't know what it is. So yeah, a lot of people left. I will continue in this job, like working at the call center, mainly because, you know, I just want to continue getting some benefits out of this experience. But yeah, I would actually like to make more videos like this, maybe about more broad topics so that more people are interested, you know, because I just really like talking. I job a lot, you know. But yeah, I actually have not been reading as much lately because, you know, you gotta work. I wake up really early. I wake up at like 6 something. For me, it's early, okay? And I have to sleep at least 8 hours. Okay, at least I can. You guys are making me feel bad. I feel like I can feel this like people is nearing on me like seriously. But yeah, um, yeah, that was chill. That's it. You guys take care, okay?